as always, we start with our show pick. We start with the spreads, and then we'll get over to the lineup builder. I don't always do the best job in introducing this and telling you guys to like and subscribe. I've been getting better about that, but I want to give you guys kind of the rundown of what we're going to do. We're going to pack it all into about an hour. So I just want to say, if you're here for the lineup builder show, that will be coming up in maybe like 15, 20 minutes. But we do have a show pick. We did go with the Steelers and the Commanders.
It's Steelers plus 2.5 is the pick.
2.5.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh has just as much of a chance of winning this game as Washington does.
Pittsburgh's very good defensively.
Right. This will be a close game nonetheless.
Yeah. It's going to be close, not to mention, we got, interestingly enough, we see when the Commanders' offense isn't working well and the receivers are covered, Zach Ertz gets this big spike, so that might be something we want to look at if we do believe this game's going to be close. But when the receivers are shut down, Zach Ertz gets a huge spike in targets.
Yeah, I was totally wrong on the Steelers. Maybe I got to come around to them. I'm not there yet personally. I'm not ready to say they're a good team. But they've done some really good things, and Russell Wilson's been restored. All the jokes, all the memes, you can say what you want. He's looked really good, and it's starting to get continuous. Where it's you can't call it a fluke, you can't call it a good game. He's just been a lot better than what I would have anticipated, at least.
Yeah, he's done very well. But let's move on to the number generator. What do we got, boys?
Let me go 14 today. I'll go St. Brown.
I was literally going to go the opposite, 41.
All right, and I'll go 81. It's 23. Yay.
Logan, me, Donnie. I feel like I've seen this before.
I've been getting the first pick for a while, but I do like one game specifically, and I think I better take it because I think one of you will take it. It's just too many points. There's been a lot of talk that Mac Jones, for example, might be better than Trevor Lawrence, or at least on par. He had a really good preseason. And I'm not a believer that the Vikings have fixed their offensive line or are really a dominant offense. They don't even want to pass. I don't even think Sam Darnold's passed 30 times at all this season. Give me the Jags plus 7.
That's one of my favorite games this week as well.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's the Vikings aren't even offensive. So even if they won this game by a field goal, even by a touchdown, I don't think they really want to score a lot of points. So
I can see the reasoning behind it, but I am not with you on that one. I would either stay away from this game or just bet the Vikings to blow them out.
All right. Your pick, Gov.
But honestly, that's more of like a DFS bet. If I really think the Vikings are going to blow them out, then we'll be stacking Darnold. All right. Well, I already told you guys, so I'm going to just take my favorite one off the board. I like the Broncos to keep that game close in Kansas City. So I'll take them plus, is it 7 or 7.5?
I think it's 7.5. Yeah. All right. I think this is a very similar pick. I think this team is a lot better. They actually, same exact spread as last week. They covered last week. I'm just going to go right back to them. The Falcons at minus 3.5 against what I think is a really bad Saints team.
Oh, so you're taking the Falcons at 3.5?
Yeah, Falcons 3.5. I don't know how it's so close. I get their division opponent, and I just think they're so much better. There's so much more talent there.
I think the Falcons are all like the Steelers, where people they recognize they're good, but no one knows how good they are. And so they kind of get middled and they kind of get put in this, we don't know what to do with you. So we're just going to give this limp line and hope something too bad doesn't happen. That's kind of my read on it.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. And for my second game, I'm on a coin flip right now. I'm on a coin flip between maybe the best game this week and the for sure worst game this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go with the worst game this week and take the Panthers at plus 6.5.
I've been a Bryce Young guy, so I want to believe it. But he looked damn good last week.
All right.
He did.
Gov, what's your pick?
The only pick I've heard you guys say that I agree with is the Atlanta pick.
And the Steelers, don't shout out.
That you guys have said. That one we all agreed on.
Yeah.
Which it took a minute for us to figure out one to agree on. Let's be fair.
That's the longest it's taken all year.
I freaking hate.
It really has been.
Like I hate that Jags pick, and I do not like.
Well, you're
I'm a Panthers
biased.
fan, and I want to play the Panthers, and I'd love to bet on the Panthers, but this is totally a point in time I would bet on the Giants to cover. But I applaud you for betting on the overall superior team, but oh god, I'm filibustering because I don't have an actual other pick. The only pick I took, what I thought was the only good pick. Everything else is just like I disagree with you, but I don't really have a reason to not just say that. Like, do I take now I'm forced between, do I take the good game or the game that we're going to play a lot of in DFS, or the game that I don't want to play a lot of in DFS that's fully ownership? And which side do I take? Oh god. Okay, so we are yeah. We're gonna go with the game that I kind of want to avoid but might not be able to in DFS.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to follow the money. Yeah. We're going to take the Titans to cover.
That was one I was also looking at.
Tennessee at plus 7.5.
If I was going to play this game, I think I'd take the alternative. I think I would take.
Oh, look, I have 2 plus 7.5. That's nice. Synergy.
It is a weird spread week, though. I would say, though, if I was going to take this game, I think I'd take the Chargers to cover 14. Like, it's either a stay away or I'm just betting on the Chargers to blow them out completely.
All right, Logan, last pick. What do you got for us?
Okay, I think it's one of the best ones on the board still. I don't understand why it's still there. Give me the Rams at 1.5 against the Dolphins. They haven't shown any life. If they were a different coach with a different skin, like basically if you gave this record to like the Cardinals, no one would be surprised. I think McDaniels and Tyreek Hill and the name value is the only reason this game isn't getting bet up. The Dolphins have been putrid. They've been terrible.
Yeah, but when Tua was playing at the start of the year, they looked fine. They weren't finishing the games out, but they looked fine before.
They should have another loss the week 1 to that point down into the Jags, but Travis Etienne fumbled on the goal line.
I will say this, like, yes, it's Monday night and more bets will come in, but it already has less bets than any other game on the slate, including that New England-Chicago game that has less than 20,000 bets tracked right now. But whereas every other game, just to let you know in the metrics, every other game has somewhere between 23 and 30,000 bets tracked.
I just think it's a good game.
Except for that New England-Chicago game and that Miami-LA game, which are not even at 20,000.
Which Miami-LA is kind of crazy because you'd think that a lot of people would be betting on.
They could be that because of Monday night. They have the whole extra day. Everyone could be betting on that game at the end of tomorrow when they need to chase and hedge and shit.
Bankroll management type stuff, whatever. But before we move on, I will say, I know I'm probably going to regret picking the Panthers because I really wanted to take the Lions at minus 3.5, and I just couldn't do it because the Texans could come out and win any game, I feel.
Or they could never win a game again. They've that too.
They've underachieved as well, yeah.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of teams that people don't want to give up on because of the sex appeal, and maybe I'm proven wrong, and I'll be eating crow for the next couple of weeks. But there's a lot of coaches and a lot of players on those bad teams that have just skated on their name value or how pretty their necklace is when they're playing football, but their teams are bad. So there's Easter eggs for you. You can decipher my message there. But speaking of deciphering, we're going to actually construct our best value picks. Again, anyone who hasn't joined, we're just going to pick the best values and then basically from the bottom up, then take some plays that we actually like and try to plug them in to kind of merge this universal idea.
Yeah. Now I'll admit, like looking through it, I haven't been able to really fill out my stuff this week.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of great value. Like when people think of value, like when I say value, you immediately think of a cheaper play.
Yeah.
That's going to allow you to fit stuff in.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of that on this slate. The value that I see on this slate is still a lot of guys that are in like a slightly higher price range, but they're the only dudes in that range with any real form of outcome.
Which, to be fair, we could change this whole entire lineup, but the idea is to force us to go cheap because, like,
no, yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, we will play cheaper players. Like, that's the whole point. Like, they're going to be cheaper. I'm not saying like the only value is a 7K player. Like, I'm not saying that. I am saying like the obvious like 3K values that we've had the last couple of weeks, they're not there. They're 4K or 5K guys right now, which
I like a bunch
doesn't seem like value, but that's where it seems to be at this week. I don't see any real sub 6K running backs that are even viable. So like value is hard to come by this week. Like we'll be able to build this lineup and do our exercise. Like that's the whole point of doing it. Mm-hmm. Just on my initial looks of everything going on for the Sunday slate, the value is thin.
I'm going to start plugging in some of these names. You tell me if there's someone better out there, because that's the idea. Is because when you see a blank.
See, that's what I mean. Like again, we have our 4K quarterback that's going to start. Like we've had the last couple of weeks. Do I trust it? No, it's very thin. But like, so is Justin Herbert, the 5K quarterback that you could go up to. Like those are your two value quarterbacks for the week, but they're kind of thin. Juwan Johnson for that New Orleans offense with it's kind of thin. Like there's no Michael Pittman, so it's the indie receivers. There's value in some of them. Like a Donnie Mitchell's probably the value one.
That's my favorite. But I just want
Pierce and Downs are going to pull ownership, but they're again, Pierce is a 5K, Downs is a 6K wide receiver. There's no value in that, but they are valuable positions. Like that's all over the slate. There's valuable positions to attack, but DraftKings has been really good about keeping guys priced up after a big game and pricing up guys in the situations coming. So
it's getting to the point where the sports book is definitely almost ahead at this point. They've caught up to the better.
You can shout out any names in case I'm missing someone better.
I will say I don't know which of the two. I would just go with the more.
I mean, if you're going Mac Jones, I think Parker Washington is one of the Jags you need to have.
Oh yeah. No, but like that's the thing is, I think when people see a blank slate, they try to spend money, right? They're like, okay, I got this much money. How do I build? And then your instincts are to build with the most expensive guys, or like the guys that you know are going to get points. That's why I like this exercise. Like
I'll admit, like I don't even have ETN on my radar.
Well, he's the only
again, he's not the only. He's like if he's the only one, then there isn't one. I wouldn't even consider him.
Who do you got there? Is it Eckler? I guess it would be
Eckler would be the only one sub 6K that I could even see. Otherwise, like I don't think we're gonna have like this is gonna be a lineup, and we're gonna leave thousands of dollars on the table.
Yeah,
but it's probably gonna have a couple of 6K running backs in it to start.
You got any sub K running backs, Donnie?
Not sub 6K. I don't like sub 6K guys.
Yeah, obviously we'll probably change it like right away. These are
no. I don't even think we need to do that, like Logan. Like I don't even think you need to go through the exercise of that. I think you're galaxy braining in at that point. It's one thing to fill the lineup with good value. It's another thing to just jam a cheap guy because we know we're going to change it.
That's a good spot.
These guys should all be legitimately good plays that we could play together. There shouldn't be an obvious guy we're just changing just to jam in.
The Patriots are going to be 15%
the Patriots are not a good defense this week. They're just not.
But they are the cheap defense that everyone's going to play.
Yeah, they are the cheap defense I've seen people plugging in. I don't think it's
And I
really
can tell you right now, as
anything.
somebody who's watched every Patriots game, when you have 3 receivers, that you will kill the Patriots.
Look, I'm not going to play them, but they are the defense that
again, like that I understand. Like that's the chalky cheap defense that people are playing. Okay, we can plug that in when it comes to defense. Like there's not really any chalky cheap guys that we can do that for on this slate. That's my real big problem. So like we're just trying to throw darts at guys, but I don't think we need to. Like even right now, if we were to plug in 3-6, okay, so double New Orleans tight end is kind of stupid. Like, but we don't even need to do that. We could plug in 3 6K guys and still have like 5K left on the table to play around with. We don't need to just jam in cheap for the sake of cheap.
Well, but I wanted to bring this up though because Taysom Hill only went up $100 more. But
I would honestly just rather play him instead of Juwan.
But that's
you don't even need Juwan in this lineup.
Johnson played mostly wide receiver this last week. So I do think you play one of these guys at tight end. Not both of them, obviously, but I do think you play one of them.
Well, I would just plug in one. And like I said, we could still pick mid-range guys. Yeah. Here's my thought. Whichever one of the New Orleans guys is fine.
Yeah.
My favorite value mid-wide receiver would be something like Jordan Addison.
I like Keenan Allen.
He gets good target share.
I really like
Keenan Allen needs a bunch of heavy targets, and Chicago just doesn't do that.
He had 10 targets last week. I like Keenan or Rome, one of the two. I don't care which one it is. I like them both.
I like Rome a lot more because he has the upside for a splash.
I would probably go Rome just because of that. I'm not heavy on Keenan. Keenan needs the big target day, and I'd have to double check. Did he really have 10 targets last week?
Yes.
Yeah,
he had 7 the week before that. He's been averaging.
He's been getting a bunch of short yardage, ADOT targets. We can actually start building because, to your point, God, there's no one really that we need to talk about from a value. There's no easy 4K.
Well, no, again, the exercise of the lineup should be done, but I don't want you to just jam in cheap guys for the sake of nothing. So right here, these are all solid, low, solid value plays. We're as solid as they can be on the slate.
But I'm telling you,
still kind of thin on the slate, and that's the whole point. Is there's not a lot of good value on the slate.
That's what I mean. I don't have another name.
Well, that's what I mean. With the money we have left over, you just right now, I would probably now plug in DeAndre Swift. Is he cheap? No. Is he one of the lower priced running backs I'm going to play? Yes.
Right.
Does that give him value? Yes. Again, I like Jordan Addison. I would plug him in at the wide receiver spot. He's 5,300. You could even do Rome Odunze at 52 if you'd rather do that. Both of those guys would be fine. They have ceiling. They could be value guys. And then that still leaves us 15K for a flex. Plenty enough to play another solid 6K guy and still have 10,000 to upgrade our lineup.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think we're at the point where we can still just play our favorite. At this point, we can just play our favorite points per dollar play.
We could. Donnie, you were saying?
Yeah, my camera's messed up, so I'm going to back out and let me back in.
All right,
StreamYard
you good.
Froze it.
But so DeAndre Swift is solid. Again, we could go to any 6K guy at wide receiver or 5K. So just plug in Odunze. You guys both like him. I think he's in a good spot. People like Swift. I keep hearing people like Chicago. So I may have a Caleb stack at some point.
I actually don't like Rome that much.
I haven't been, other than Swift, I haven't really been liking any of that Chicago. This is the first time I've heard. I've seen people talk about it, but it hasn't really enthused me. But now, if people are going to talk about it and Swift is going to pull some ownership.
I do like Swift.
Well,
then why, maybe I should be
I'll give you my.
But like I said, even right now, do you have a favorite 5 to 6K play right now?
Yeah.
It's Hopkins for me.
I'll give you my reasoning for wanting to play one of the Bears receivers, not named DJ Moore. The Patriots, time and time again, they have been giving it all up to one of the one guy. They decide whether it's going to be, a certain one, but it's going to either be Rome goes crazy or Keenan goes crazy. It won't be DJ Moore. One of these two will, because I've watched Patriots all game long. Their slot corner, whoever plays the slot most, I'll have to look at the actual percentage. Whoever's playing the slot for the Bears is going to have a good day.
So I've watched plenty of Patriots. That's either Rome or DJ. Like Keenan's not playing the slot.
DJ's going to be followed by Gonzalez, so I'm not worried about it. Gonzalez will be on DJ the whole game, basically.
You sure?
Pretty much, yeah.
I would think Gonzalez would be on whatever guy is their number one target, which has not been DJ this year.
You know what's going to happen now? I'm going to have to follow this prop now. I'm going to have to follow how many yards DJ Moore actually gets. And then on our review show, we can actually come back and circumvent this.
Probably not. All right. So, again, value thin, but we have some solid plays here.
I do think.
So, what's the first thing you guys would want to upgrade? Like, I personally, like, this week, it definitely is quarterback.
I like playing Mac Jones. I want to play Mac.
I don't like that at all.
I love it because it allows you.
I played Bryce Young. I played the cheap quarterback the last couple of weeks. I'm not playing Mac Jones this week. Couldn't fucking pay me. You could Venmo me $75 to play the mini max. Let me build 150 lineups. Not a single fucking one would have Mac Jones.
Does that mean we should let this be your only exposure to him then?
It probably means you guys are going to force it.
Okay, so
I feel like we will have a show lineup with Mac Jones. I don't know which one it will be, but there will be a Mac Jones lineup.
I don't care if we take him out. I just think he's a good value because it allows you to get Justin Jefferson. And
I was about to say if we're gonna do that, then like we have to like fill it out with the right Minnesota guys because there's no way Mac Jones is pushing But that's the thing, that in my mind there actually is a scenario where Mac Jones is trying to throw, and so maybe a Jacksonville guy gets there, but it doesn't matter, and Minnesota also doesn't score a whole bunch of points.
So we're contentious on this. So let's actually who is the one guy that you definitely want to get out that we definitely know we don't want to play? Anyone like that?
Let's see. Okay, so if I forget the quarterback, I would rather have Taysom than Johnson first off.
Yeah, I don't want to play Johnson. I would lean if we're going to be playing Swift, I'd probably just go Hunter Henry. He's a little bit cheaper than Taysom Hill, but
I like Taysom.
I can do Henry too.
Henry's getting a lot of targets if you look at that. I mean, it's insane amount of targets.
But if we go Henry, then I'd still rather get up to Drake May instead of Mac Jones. I'm not saying we need to go up to
which is fair.
Allen, but
the reason the Saints are such a good option, though, we should just hit on it quickly. Olave's out, and then they don't have a backup running back. Jamal Williams is going to be out as well. So how about we play Henry? And I would recommend that we take Eckler and we get all the way up to Kamara. That'd be what I would want to do.
My favorite pay-up is honestly Barkley or
I do
CMC.
love Barkley.
I trust CMC. If they play him, he's going to get.
I could see this being my CMC exposure. I'm a little scared of it personally, but I think it does make sense. What scares me is Mason. How much work is Mason going to get with CMC coming back?
Oh, I'm not playing.
That's the thing. They could split. The other one I like as a slight pay-up would be to Cook. We're not.
I like
Josh
Cook
Allen
this week a lot.
I could see going from Eckler to James Cook.
I really like Cook this week.
Okay.
All right. Still have a shit ton of money. So all right.
I like that then.
All right. So now we need to
get. Okay.
Who do you think is more important to have with Mac Jones? Aaron Jones or Justin Jefferson?
Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson.
Because it puts you in a range that most people can't get to. People can still get to Jones. People won't be able to get to Justin Jefferson very easily.
The question is, who do we move? I think we move off Odunze to get to Jefferson, personally.
I would also say that.
Yeah.
Although I don't really like him or Hopkins that much. So I think those are the next two pivots in my mind. It's weird how I haven't said we need to pivot off AD Mitchell yet.
I see if we're gonna play.
But now
Cook,
I kind of like AD Mitchell more in the lineup with Cook in there.
See, if we're gonna play Cook, I need AD Mitchell in there, or I need Josh Downs.
I'm a Josh Downs guy, so that's where I lean on it. But I think we have enough money for it. One of my favorite plays at receiver this week, and we could just take Hopkins out. Devontae Adams is getting so many targets, and he's only 7,100. I mean,
yeah, but he's getting all these low A targets. Like Garrett Wilson's starting to actually get downfield stuff in this offense.
If you want to do a side bet on that, Donnie, I'll bet you that Hopkins has more points than Adams this week.
I don't side bet friends unless it's just for bragging rights. Sorry, Logan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We can go back to I think Hopkins is by far the best wide receiver play on the board.
I'm not saying he's a bad play, but I just don't know. I don't know if Kansas City is going to be forced to score that much points.
Fair.
Me neither. Like, again, I think that game's going to be close, but I think it's close because Denver's defense keeps it kind of low scoring. Like, these are two good defenses, and Kansas City's offense is, like, it's consistent, but it's been on hit or miss all year.
We agree we don't want to play the Patriots defense.
We're definitely going to change our defense.
They'll be chalky. I think the Patriots will be at least 11% owned.
I really like Atlanta's defense this week.
See, okay, I was going to go a certain way too. So, like, I'm fine with Atlanta's defense.
Okay, I don't care who it is. I just don't want to play a chalky one. That's essential.
Falcons. There it is, 34.
So that
they won't be chalky because they're kind of expensive.
And that rules well. I like it, but I don't like it for me personally because I want to play a lot of Kamara. But I will say the Falcons will be a low-owned defense because a lot of people are going to jam in Kamara.
You know what we could get up to, which I think just fits better and is better in general? Just get off Mitchell and go to Downs, and that's pretty much all of our money.
Yeah, like that could be a pivot.
I was going to say get off of Swift and go up to Barkley.
I like Swift a lot. If we're not going to play any... We're playing, it correlates too because we have Henry, so that we're saying that the Patriots are going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah, we have a lot of correlation in our lineup other than Hopkins. So, like,
I'm okay with it. I'm just saying, I also like Swift. Don't get me wrong. He's been really productive.
I mean, those targets are insane on top of his rushing workload.
I think I was saying this earlier, but I was in with everyone in our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget about PMR. Yeah. Even though this slate has like nothing in the PMR that I really like. But like let's keep in account what the 4:00 games are. There's only 3 of them this week, I believe.
I think Philly Dallas are the big PMR game to me.
So if that's the case, then I do kind of like getting to Barkley.
See, we could go Barkley there and then go back.
And then just leave AD Mitchell. Like that's the thing. Do we want to get off of Swift to Barkley, or do you want to get off of Hopkins to Barkley? I like getting off of Hopkins to Barkley.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I did.
That's what he did.
Yeah, and then you could still just play AD Mitchell.
How much targets has Mitchell been getting? Can I see that at least?
Only 1.
Well, you also he hasn't been getting a lot, but you also have to realize Pittman is out.
Yeah, he's basically playing.
You're getting just Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, AD Mitchell. 1, 2, 3.
Transparently, Reggie Wayne basically said, like, this kid's talented. He's probably our most talented wide receiver on the team, but he just not aware. He said he gets distracted by a blade of grass. So not the biggest endorsement, but he is extremely athletic, extremely fast. Like, he has Worthy-like speed. So
I will say, a 100% transparency. I am playing every one of these players in this lineup in some capacity outside of Mitchell. So I'm not mad at this lineup. I really like this lineup.
I'm going to say this too. As much as I fucking hate Mac Jones, I don't hate any other really piece of this lineup.
I'm telling you, and you get some exposure. So you can go onto the Discord channel and say, like, I didn't play any Mac Jones. I hated to play. These guys forced me into it. And then if this lineup wins $1 million, I know it's not the top prize, $1 million, but go with me here. If it wins a lot of money, we'll still Venmo you some cash. So it's a win-win.
I won't take it. I'll say put it all in underdog so we can blow it on best ball.
And just to not talk about it, come on, Gov.
I'll buy you Here's the thing I'll do. I'll buy you a Big Mac if Mac Jones wins
a chicken Big Mac? I'm sorry. I'll stop.
I'll buy four.
Please, God. Can you send him away again? You know what? I can't. You're suddenly frozen. You should click out back in.
By the way, McDonald's did fix their ice cream, talking about frozen treats. So there you go. Now we come full circle. We
Trump works there one day and the ice cream machine is fixed. America.
It's true.
Kidding. That's a fun one. Come on, everyone should laugh at that. God damn it, you're all dull.
Oh man.
Okay. Now remind me, Gov, what's your heart out here? Because I do think we have time for this draft.
We have 35 minutes.
We got time for our draft.
All right. So I got first pick in this one. If you guys are just tuning in, the order right now is me, Gov, then Logan, and me Snake It.
Mm-hmm.
No one can draft quarterback with their first pick.
Also, the running bit is Donnie gets nervous the more live viewers we have. So we have 5, Donnie. Is that enough to not make you nervous?
I already know who I'm gonna play. I said his name already.
Oh, he's ready. Okay.
I'm just gonna throw in Devontae. Sorry.
No, I like Devontae Adams.
And the myth, the legend.
I actually do like
Adams.
I mean, that 11 targets last week. He caught 7 of them. They're starting to get the rapport back. And I think this game will have the points where they're going to need to score. It's definitely Gov's pick. So
no, I know that. I'm just saying this is my personal lineup. So don't get me wrong. I'm playing Adams too, but Hopkins goes in with him.
I don't know if unless you do that with your picks, I don't know if that's going to happen here. Although I guess that's foreshadowing. I might as well figure out what to do now around those picks.
Say though. Well, I give you some time to buffer if you need it, Go. A lot of people seem to like Wilson because of his ADOT targets or more down the field. I guess people are saying like, oh, Adams is basically like the tight end for Rodgers, and like they're basically mocking his ADOT. I don't care. I still think Adams is the alpha in that offense. I would take Adams over Wilson. It's not even close to me, and I don't care if I'm wrong about that.
All right. See, I wish there was a solid value that I liked or something in the mid-range just to try to keep this safe, but there isn't.
This really is a gross week, but I like it. I was telling that
it's a great week to take your shots.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that's going to be high owned, there's like none of it is any of the stuff I really like. Usually like there's 1 or 2 chalky pieces I like, so I try to figure out if it's going to hurt me or how it's going to fail me. And then I might overthink it. This is a week where, like, I'm probably not going to overthink it because I already don't like anything.
Yeah.
Well, so, like, I guess I'm just going to go with the stuff, like, just plug in DeAndre Swift because I'm going to have a lot of DeAndre Swift.
Like, with this workload, the thing about Swift is, with this workload, he fails because he gets injured or the workload just stops. And I don't see any sign of that happening. Like, he has consistency. That's the thing. It's like every week.
It's just there. Like, all the volume is there. Like, it's just there.
It reminds me of
there's no reason not to play it on a week when, like, there's not much there.
Right.
At least we know he's there.
I think the only
in a solid matchup.
The only way you don't play him, in my opinion, is if you're trying to get cute. And like, if you want to get cute, fine, be fashionable. But I don't think that you can make an argument to say he's a bad play. It's my pick, right?
Yes, you get 2 in a row.
You get next 2.
I'm gonna jam in. Yeah, I'm gonna jam in the best play on the board, I think. Give me Elvin Kamara. They have no wide receivers, and Derek Carr loves them. And then they don't have a backup running back either. Like they could honestly kill a Kamara with his workload this week. That's honestly how
that's my problem. Like, he's just coming off like one of the crazy workloads, like almost 40 touches for a running back.
Yeah,
and he's already been hurt and dinged up. Like, I don't see any reason for him to have that kind of game again. Like, I'm like, I understand why people are going to him, But again, this is another one of those you say he's the best play on the slate. I think he has just as much chance to fail as any of the other running backs, if not more, because he has higher injury risk this year.
He could, but if I looked at this lineup, I think we have the 2 best running backs for volume on the board, and we didn't even pay up for the most expensive. Okay. Let me think what I want to do here.
Well, you think. I just want to talk about this because I completely missed. When did MVS get on the Saints? What?
Well, Buffalo cut him.
He's on the Saints because they needed a body. He got.
Yeah, they picked him up when he was floating away because Buffalo cut him when they got Amari Cooper.
Yeah, last week.
I didn't know. I never knew he got cut. He just disappeared in my eyes.
Yeah, he wasn't being used, so Buffalo cut him when they acquired Amari Cooper.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. This is another one of my favorite plays. I want Ladd this week.
That's another wide receiver I've heard a good chunk about, so I know he's going to be popular.
Oh, no, Logan.
But do I really trust him?
Logan, no. I was going to pick QJ. All right.
You can still do that. You can still do that. Because guess what? It's my pick. And guess who I'm going to put in there? Guess who I'm going to do? Guess what I'm going to do? Oh, it's going to be so good. You're going to love it.
Herbert?
No, we're going to play Josh Allen in this lineup.
That's fine with me. Also, Coleman is out, so
yeah,
Coleman is out, and there's a chance Amari Cooper is out.
Yeah, just throw in Shakir.
No, Cooper.
Is that what you really want to do? Because I have a different.
Cooper might miss.
Exactly. If Cooper misses.
Then it's
you have a cheap Mac Hollins, or you have Dalton Kincaid, who's probably going to go back to being that guy. So I would like either one of those.
I don't even know Dalton Kincaid.
I am going to say Shakir, but if there is an injury, that is if we hear that Cooper is out, I will say we switch to one of Mac or Kincaid.
Well, that's the thing. Kincaid's a tight end. Mac's $2,000 cheaper.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
It's not like something you could just say, oh, we're going to pivot when Cooper's out. We need to plan ahead.
It's true. You have
with your play here.
We're
playing Shakir, and it's always.
We don't even have the salary for it, really. So I guess
that's what I mean. We need the Kincaid or the Mac Hollins to go with this. I
didn't realize you screwed us that bad, Gov.
You guys are the ones jamming in crafty Devontae Adams and Alvin Kamara and stealing all our salary.
Hey,
I've spent the least money out of any of you. All right.
First of all, I've probably spent the least amount of money this season.
All right. I guess we just. How much targets is Mac?
He got 5 last week.
Okay, then we'll throw Mac in.
I think he got 4 of the 5 when Coleman was out too. So
early in the year before they had Cooper and Coleman wasn't regulated or fully in, he was like the only person cutting into his snaps were MVS, and they went away real quick.
I was gonna say he also has 3 touchdowns. He is a
and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pick our defense. I know I've been straying away from that for a bit. We're gonna go Denver defense. Yeah, not the prettiest. This is a Logan play. It's at 2,400, Logan. You got to keep scrolling down.
Yeah, I'm playing some Patrick Mahomes this weekend. A lot of Chiefs, so I haven't considered that defense. It's not bad. I just haven't considered it.
All right, so back to my final pick. We actually have a little bit of salary to deal with because we could do a cheap tight end and still have a mid-range player. This is not horrible. Could I get us there? Let's see. So we would need 29. That's a little rough to get to. But it might be possible if we say maybe no.
I do think Mac Hollins, excuse me, his ownership will be lower because people will want to wait on that news. And we always see it on Sunday mornings. People don't adjust to news that quickly. Like Austin Eckler went on their own compared to where I thought he was going to be last week, just because the news came out last minute, for example.
You know what?
It's your heart out, so take as much time.
Yeah, I know. It's rough. I know. I again, tight end is a freaking wasteland.
There's one I really like who hasn't played in a good while.
I think we're probably. Like, do you want to just play TJ? I'll just play TJ Hawkinson.
I was thinking Dallas Goedert, but I'm okay with Hawkinson too.
I think we'll just play TJ Hawkinson. That seems better.
I was going to say Dallas Goedert against Dallas. It made sense. Okay. It's my pick, right?
Yep. How are you going to finish this lineup with 4,400 left?
Oh, not well. Now I got to get cheap, don't I?
Well, you're the one who jammed in Kamara. Now you got to get cheap.
I do.
You can always go double tight end, technically.
That's true.
You did some flex spot.
It's true. Let me see what we got at tight end here.
Taysom is there. He's solid. Henry.
I could do Taysom and just play the running backs.
Yeah, get all the rushing attack versus Atlanta. Could be like most of the points because like they don't really have a wide receiver. Again, Atlanta's defense has been bend don't break. So like, could Kamara get a shit ton of volume like he did last week and put up yards? Yeah, but like the touchdowns usually don't come against Atlanta. So I just don't see the ceiling.
I have an idea. If I knew Shepard was going to be the guy, I would play him. I really would. But I don't know about McMillan. Let me just put in Parker Washington.
That works out.
Because that's a bring back with your Hawkinson play. There's a chance. We always see it with backup quarterbacks. They usually go with the kind of bench slot guy that, and now he's seeing a lot more work. What I like about this lineup is we went with some cheap wide receivers, but they've seen some volume. And then we loaded up on running backs that could basically be wide receivers.
Yeah. And we get what could be the highest volume, like ceiling quarterback on the slate.
In a season where we haven't seen a tight end be efficient, like we have to admit that TJ Hawkinson has the legacy of a good tight end. Like he hasn't shown it because he's been injured, but no one's shown it. Like I don't want to play 6,000 for Travis Kelce, for example, even coming off of those 10 targets. Like that's just too much. With that being said, is there anything else you guys want to hit on before we get out of here? I know we kind of pressed our limits with the stretch of Gov's heart out here. Any other last-minute advice to give the people?
Take your shot this week. Like, again, I think everything's kind of flat, which means I don't know. I don't have any real thought of where a ceiling game could come from.
Yeah,
like,
honestly,
even the games I want to attack, I don't know where the ceiling could come from in those games, if it's even there.
Every one of my lineups actually this week has at least 300 left on the table. Like I'm leaving money on the table consistently this week. So
I got a quick take on that correlates. You guys saw it with our drafted lineup. Usually I have a 3K guy or what I call a free square or a bingo square, or like, everyone's been talking about this cheap guy. I didn't have that this week. Like I had the opportunity to play a cheap guy and I kept flipping and flopping. And a guy who does a stars and scrubs build for almost everything, NBA, baseball, NFL, I usually know this range, and that range is uncomfortable this week because like a guy like Tipton, who you would be like, oh, jam him in, he's priced up. So DK put you in a weird range. I wouldn't even say it's an expensive range, but they just put you in a weird range where it feels like there's a vice on you. So you have, like to Gus' point, you have to take a stand. You have to take a shot. And, I do think there's ways to mess it up this week, which actually makes it a very fun week for me. But with that being said, Good afternoon, guys. Take care. We appreciate all the people joining. By the way, we saw a lot of comments in the last 2 weeks. I appreciate that as well. We've gotten some love on Twitter. I don't always talk about this, but Gov's link is in the description as well for his Twitch channel. You do a lot of NBA usually later in the NFL season, so people can always get your takes there as well. With that being said, though, have a good weekend and hopefully you win some money.
Peace out, everyone.
Have a good